Hi guys, what's up? I had so after I showed the picture of all the knifeless tape and talked about that, I had a request for showing a demonstration of how to use the knifeless tape, what it does, why we use it, what it's used for. So here we got our stuff laid out. I'll just show you all the different types that they make and show you what they do. So first, you just got a clean surface. Lay it down. Got it. Let's make sure it's stuck. Goes from kind of a light green to when you get stuck, it darkens and you can see through it a little more. So that was a 6mm tri-line. Let's get the 9mm tri-line. That one's got a little, this stuff's old. Old little strap piece, has some junk in there, so we won't use that. Be a bad example. There's the 9mm tri-line. Here is the perf line. This is my man Joey's favorite. He likes this for straight lines. It's a little thicker, so pinstripe's a little easier. Here we have bridge line. Got really thick tape there. It's meant to cover doors and gaps and stuff. Here we have finish line. Another straight line one. And design line. Where'd you start? There it is. Design line is meant to do curves. Lots of curves. Has a little thinner string in there, has a little more flexible paper, tape, whatever it is. Alright, so we got our stuff laid down. Now the reason we do this is because pretend this is a car. This is a knife that we use. If we need to cut these lines, say we got striping or if we need to cut lines, we don't want to risk having our knife on here. So although with tons and tons and tons of practice, you can get to the point where you're able to cut the vinyl without cutting the paint, but there's no reason to risk that, because you don't want to do that to a paint job. And I see that far too often, and it sucks. And it really makes me sad to see that when we take wraps off of other vehicles that the previous installer did that, and then it's going to rust and it wrecks the paint, and it just is a mess. It makes a bad name for wrapping. So we got our tape laid down. Take our vinyl here. Lay it over top. Squeegee it down. Using my personal favorite, this Avery SWF wrap vinyl. Stuff is just amazing to work with. Stick it down. Alright, so we got it stuck, and then we want to make sure it's stuck extra well over top of the tape. So I'm going back over the tape, my glove hand here, getting it tight down to the tape. That way there's no air pockets or anything that's going to pop loose and mess up our cuts. When it's down tight, then it's going to make a nice line. So we got her stuck down there. Alright, now all we got to do is release the line. So we'll start over here. This is kind of the simpler stuff. The tri-line's a little more Advanced, that's for like pinstriping, or I also use it for front edges of vehicles, of like hoods where there's no edge, so that I can get a little extra edge that's going to wrap around nice and uniform. So start with the design line, which is used for curved lines. I use this for inlays, like if I need to go around fog lights to do an inlay that goes in there, or in front bumpers, back bumpers. A lot of times I use this stuff to get my custom seams so that they are nice and smooth. And alright, so what I did there, I'll show you on the next one how I started. But I got started, and you see there's this little red line here, little filament. This is on the design line, it has a red line in there. And then I get it up by the edge of the vinyl where I'm going to start, and I put my finger down there, because otherwise if you pull, you could tear the vinyl a little bit and it pulls up, and then you get kind of a yucky cut. So I give it just a slight little yank, and then I pull, I keep it down towards the vinyl, and I go in nice smooth motion, pulling in the direction that the tape is. So you do that, and then go back through, pull off. Make sure you get both sides of the green tape out of there, otherwise the wrap's not going to stick. You don't want to leave tape behind. So we'll go back over here with our glove and get it stuck. Get the edges stuck there, and then we can peel back. Remove our vinyl. There we have a nice clean cut along that curve. Always make sure to seal that edge down really good. There we got a nice clean cut. Didn't have to use a knife. Does absolutely no damage. Not even a chance of damage to the vehicle, to the paint underneath. So again, the way I started is I got my edge here, and I fold it over, just like I did that little pop there at the beginning. I have it folded over on itself, put a finger on it to hold it in place, and then I pull. And that's going to release, that gets the line released from the tape. And all these other ones, or at least these other straight ones, have a yellow line in there. The yellow line's a little stronger than the red line. That red line is meant to go around curves more. It's a little thinner. The only issue with this is that if you have to tug too hard, like when you're going over seams or something like that, where there's 2 layers of vinyl or it's really thick vinyl, there's a chance of this red line breaking. It's not as strong as the yellow, so you want to use, if you can, you want to use the stronger ones as much as possible. And again, pull, release, get that out of there, stick her down. So finish line there, that's what we use for long straight lines, like when I seam, if I do hidden seams like in a body panel, like for a top and a bottom of a van, I use that to do our nice straight lines, do the edges there. Alright, this is bridge line. Has a lot thicker tape on it. It's meant to go over door gaps, hood gaps between the hood and the fender, between the doors. Can also be used for like bumper gaps between bumpers and fenders. Something that has a little wider gap. Usually if it has a thinner gap, you want to use a thinner tape if possible. But the method is all the same. Go back. Get her stuck. Then we can go remove a piece. There we got nice smooth cuts there. Nice straight, smooth, nice edges. Love it. This here is a perf line. It has just kind of an in-between width on the tape there. This is meant for going around the inside edges of windows when we put window perf up. It works really good as the width of the tape is a nice measuring tool to see how far off of the window, where it's away from the edge of the window to cut, because we use a over laminate or a clear tape, edge sealing tape to go around the edges of our window perf. So this way we have a nice uniform edge that we're going to cover. That way we cover the perf and get it stuck on the window and have enough room on both sides. The beauty of this stuff compared to some other methods of trimming around inside a window is that it gives you a nice uniform look. It's going to have, you're going to see exactly where it's going to cut before you even put anything down, so that way you're not messing up cuts. And same method there. Nice little tug and pull. Put that down. Alright, now we have our tri-lines. Tri-lines are used a lot of times for pinstriping. Like we did a Mustang that we had hood stripes, and then we did pinstripes along the edges of it. I use this thick tri-line, the 9mm stuff. It makes a nice even width of pinstripe, and you can stack them next to each other and make it wider, make any width that you want. But in order to get that, you need to, it has 3 lines in here instead of just 1. So you pull 1 line at a time. I'm going to start with this outside line. You see I just have the outside one, trimmed it away from the others. I'm going to start with the outside one. And like I said, this stuff is kind of weird sometimes. There we go, got her started. And then we'll peel that back. And now that gives us that. And when you do pinstriping, you'll have 2 of them laid next to each other, because you can't release that middle piece on its own. Otherwise you'll cut out a stripe and then you'll have this tape underneath. So you have to have 2 of them next to each other, but that doesn't matter for this. We're just showing you kind of how it works, how it makes the separation. And let's see here. Alright, now we'll get the other piece. The outside edge. Let me show you how it does the different widths here. Got that. Now we're going to take the whole middle out. And there's a nice even cut, uniform width the whole way. And if you space these things together, if you have 2 of them next to each other, then you can set up any width that you want. You just got to plan it out so that you are setting it up so that you leave the middle piece. You're cutting the outside edges, and you leave the middle, which is going to be where the 2 butt together of the pieces there, the tape. So that gives you that. And then this one, so like for this, I'm going to show you what I use it for when I do seams on, or when I do the edges of like a front edge of a hood where there's nothing to add the vinyl seam to be able to use bridge line or something like that to get a nice even line that's going to curl around. So I would line up the front edge, or the first line, with the front edge of the hood. And then that leaves about a 3/8 of an inch or so to be able, that's going to be able to wrap around when I pull that third line. So then you have, pull that third line, and that'll give you a nice clean cut along that outside edge. and then say the edge of the hood is right there. You're cutting the material out here. So that gives you a little extra nice even amount to be able to go around. Usually I use the thicker stuff for that. Gives about a good 1/2 inch or so that's going to be able to wrap around. But this just shows you kind of how it works. And then after that's all done, pull that out and you're able to wrap it around. You got that. So again, nice even cut, nice and smooth, no risk of cutting through the vinyl and cutting on the paint. Saves the paint, protects the paint. Costs a little bit more. Each of these rolls is about in between 30 and 40 bucks, depending on the roll, depending where you get it from. And definitely takes more time because you got to plan it out on your wrap. You got to put this stuff down before you wrap anything, and then remember which directions everything's going, and that's all got to be planned out ahead of time. So it takes a little bit more time, a little bit more money, a little bit more planning, but it's definitely worth it in the end because you're not cutting the vehicle. Right there, made a nice cut, but see underneath, cuts the vehicle. That's bad. Don't want that. So, if you're getting a vehicle wrapped somewhere and you care about your paint job, whether it's your business or your personal car, ask if they use knifeless tape. Demand that they use knifeless tape. Because even if it's a junky old fleet vehicle, it's still going to wreck it. It's still going to make it take years and years off of its longevity because it's going to wreck the paint. It's going to make it peel away. It's going to make it start rusting from the underneath, which is also going to make the wrap fail much quicker. I've seen this far too many times. Makes me sick every time. And yeah, we're just here to try to show you guys a better way. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comments. Love to answer them. Love to help you guys out. Thank you.